I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and you're listening to The Common. Today, we're bringing you the last installment of a series from WBUR reporter Barbara Moran and Scientific American about water pollution on Cape Cod. Now, the past 2 days, we've been sharing Barb's in-depth reporting on Cape Cod's water and the pollution that has been increasingly threatening its safety. We also heard about some of the costly solutions the community is considering to help prevent further wastewater pollution. But what if there was a way to clean up the Cape's waters without spending hundreds of millions of dollars? Some of you may have heard of it before on The Common. It's called urine diversion, or pee cycling. This episode is the third and final of Barb's reporting project with Scientific American's Science Quickly podcast. It's called Liquid Gold.
Hi, I'm Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Earl Barnhart lives in a beautiful house in Falmouth with his wife, Hilda Menge. There's a huge vegetable garden and fruit trees. Oh, there's chickens.
Oh, it's like a country club for the chickens.
But I'm not here to see the chickens. I'm here to see the bathroom, because Earl and Hilda are known on Cape Cod as the power couple of pee cycling. Yes, they recycle their urine. All those luscious vegetables are grown on what Earl calls liquid gold.
In nature, you have plants and animals, and the animals eat the plants, and the waste from the animals go back to the plants, and the nutrients go round and round. Humans don't do that at all.
What most humans on Cape Cod do is use septic tanks. So all those nutrients leach into local bays and ponds, where they feed algae and invasive plants. The algae and plants grow out of control, sucking up oxygen in the water, killing fish, and turning the bottom to muck. To solve that problem, Falmouth had a plan.
Falmouth, our town, was going to spend $600 million over 40 years and build as many sewers as they could in that time. And that's a huge amount of money for a town of 30,000 people. So we started studying alternatives to sewers.
Earl and Hilda's research led them to the Rich Earth Institute, a Vermont nonprofit that studies urine diversion. They learned that about 80% of the nitrogen in wastewater comes from urine.
And that if you could divert the urine only, you could divert 80% of the nitrogen that's causing the trouble. So
they did. They bought urine-diverting toilets for their home. And Hilda is going to show me one. Okay, so here we are in the bathroom. It looks like a normal toilet.
Exactly.
Then you sit on it, and sort of the chute opens in the back, and that's where the poo goes. Yep. I see. Yep. And then there's like a little chute
for the urine in the front. It never fails.
Never fails? I went back to find out. I'm going to shut the door here. Okay, I'm actually going to use this toilet. Spoiler alert, I am not going to tape this, but I will give a report back after. Stand by for the report. Okay, well, overall, that was pretty anticlimactic. So I just peed. The pee went down where it was supposed to go, and that was that. The pee goes into a tank in the basement, and Hilda and Earl use it in their garden as fertilizer. And they're not the only ones who consider urine to be precious liquid gold.
I would argue that wastewater is a resource. Here in the United States, we're not very good at reusing this resource, but in other parts of the world, it's something that they wouldn't waste.
Remember Brian Baumgartel? He's the director of the Massachusetts Alternative Septic System Test Center, and his group is doing a whole research project on pee cycling. He says, we're thinking about wastewater all wrong.
Yes, it's got stuff in it that we don't necessarily like because it might make us sick, but nitrogen is one of the things that we utilize for fertilizer.
And that matters because fertilizer production is a climate problem. Making synthetic nitrogen fertilizer requires so much fossil fuel that its carbon dioxide footprint is comparable to that of the UK. Using recycled urine for fertilizer instead could help curb the demand for the synthetic stuff.
So we've got a material that we're sending down into the ground every day that's a resource and we're wasting. And in the past, they would have been like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that? You know?
And there are other pros to pea cycling. It's relatively cheap compared with sewers or advanced septic. It costs about $6,000 to install a fancy system like the one Earl and Hilda have. And if you don't want to sprinkle your tinkle on your flower beds, getting your urine hauled away is pretty cheap. Or, for less than $100, you can get a portable urinal called a cubie. And people could start pea cycling quickly without having to wait decades for sewers.
You know, I think there's a lot of advantages. I don't know that it's the sort of end solution for the wastewater problem. Maybe it is for some folks.
There are, of course, challenges. Cape Cod doesn't have the infrastructure to recycle everyone's urine, yet. And there's the ick factor to overcome. But still, folks are interested. Earl and Hilda host regular open houses to teach people about pea cycling. One day last fall, more than a dozen people showed up.
Yeah, we're going to show you how our house is set up in 2 groups, and then we'll come back out and talk some more.
A group follows Hilda into the bathroom and then downstairs to see the storage tanks. One guy on the tour, Rob Pacheco of Falmouth, thought it was interesting.
I think that it's something that we need to adopt the idea of, in general.
Yeah.
Just not sure of how to install everything.
Toby and Rich Stomberg were more enthusiastic. They have a house in Eastham, Massachusetts, a town that has the same water problems as the rest of the Cape.
And it's such an amazing solution. So for us, it's just taking the time to get it going in our own home. And then if that sort of spreads to our neighbors, well, that would be really nice.
And I'd point out, too, that we have solar panels on our roof, and we got lots of money back from the state and government. That really made it easy for us to do that. And the government is not supporting this.
That might change, at least in Falmouth. The town is considering a urine diversion pilot project for at least 50 homes. If the town decides to move forward with the project, it may be the first program of its kind in the country.
This series has been a co-production of WBUR and Scientific American, reported and hosted by WBUR's Barbara Moran. That's all for now. And that's all for now. I'm Daryl C. Murphy. Talk to you soon. And that's all for now. I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and I'll talk to you soon.
I'm Meghna Chakrabarty, host of On Point. At a time when the world is more complex than ever, On Point's daily deep dive conversation takes the time to make the world more intelligible. From the state of democracy to how artificial intelligence is transforming the way we live and work to the wonders of the natural world. One topic each day, one rich and nuanced exploration. That's On Point from WBUR. Be sure to follow us right here in your podcast feed.